Unspoken, what he says about you. You're waking up with Rise and Shine. There we go. Got to get my words right. It's a Tuesday and I've got Robbo here. Very exciting. We've also got Brett and Kate Ryan.
That's right, Brett and Kate joining us. How you going, guys?
Yeah, good.
Very, very well.
Excellent. Of course, we're gearing up towards Father's Day, which is this Sunday. So if you haven't already, make sure you organise something for Dad for this Sunday.
Well, we should get some ideas, I think. If you're out there and you've got a good Father's Day ideas suggestion, give us a call and let us know. Let's be sharing and caring about this. Brett and Kate, maybe you could start us off. Have you got some ideas for Father's Day? What should we be getting Dad?
Well, obviously socks and jocks.
That's right.
You know what? That is not even a joke. My dad was like, I literally want that. Please, please, people.
Well, every year you can replace the ones that you had and
That's it.
This year and then socks. Yeah, I could definitely go for a few more socks, but sometimes it's very difficult to find that perfect gift. And we also have to acknowledge that there'll be some people who they can't even think about buying a gift because they either have lost their father or they haven't had a healthy relationship with their father. So we also know that this can raise up some probably some hurts or some unresolved issues. And so we have to also acknowledge that. But if you have got a dad and you have got a relationship with them, it's a time that you can actually honour them. And it's not necessarily the perfect gift, but actually what you say and to affirm them and to appreciate what they have done for you in the past and hopefully continues into the future.
I love that because you think back to, we talk about the 5 love languages and there was a joke going around, I'm not even sure if it's a joke, that really for men, 2 of the most common ones are touch, but also words of affirmation. Kate, you're nodding there. Do you think that's true?
It absolutely is true. It's so funny because we kind of do this with our marriage retreats and so many people, when we talk about Brett's love languages, well, the major 2, I mean, he likes the other ones as well. But,
yes, of course.
The major 2, a lot of the men are going, yeah. And it has a lot to do with, let's face it, the composition of a man. It's where God says, husbands love your wives, wives respect your husbands. So words of affirmation are big for a man.
Right.
Showing respect, showing honour are really important. So it's not kind of a surprise that that's what's going to be a lot of men's languages of love.
Yeah, so true. And I guess the important thing is, though, is knowing if you can sort of figure out what Dad's love language is sort of making sure that you're speaking his language, so to speak. Because if it is, let's say, it is words of affirmation, but you're buying him a gift, then it's actually not necessarily landing.
Well, he probably won't mind, but as long as you have a nice card.
So long as it's socks and jocks, that's the main thing, hey, Brett?
But it is that hug, physical touch, and those words speaking over them, which is often, it can be harder, can't it? But it's so important to be speaking out and honouring Dad. And I can see, Brett, you're nodding your head. That's important to you.
Oh, very much so. But I'm always very mindful that some people say, well, my dad's not very tactile, doesn't like hugs. He's always been aloof. And so, as Kate was saying, many men have primary language of love. But as a father, if they haven't experienced that growing up, it can tend to follow through. So, and we've often spoken about in our conversations about family of origin, to understand what makes Dad tick. And so that may be a great thing you could do this Father's Day, is actually to find out a little bit more about their history, what it was like growing up, what was it like with their father and or their grandfather. All those things actually help shape your dad, and the good and the not so good.
Yeah.
And that's an important aspect, to actually have a full perspective or an appreciation of the way that he is wired is because of the way that he was brought up and those experiences.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we're going to explore this a little bit more. And I mean, part of this also is obviously the different stages of life. Like if you've got young kids versus if you've got adult kids, it's going to look a little bit different on Father's Day as well. So hang with us, guys, and we'll come back and talk some more about this after the word for today, which is coming up next. We're chatting with Brett and Kate Ryan from Focus on the Family this morning on Rise and Shine.
Casting crowns, all because of mercy. You're on Rise and Shine with Fel and Robbo. And we've got Brett and Kate Ryan zooming in with us this morning. Hey, guys.
It's a pleasure being with you once again.
So good having you here. And, of course, it is Father's Day this weekend, so we've been talking about Father's Day. And I was just saying a minute ago, Brett, that obviously the different stages of life. I mean, on Father's Day, you might be with some really young kids or teens or adult kids. Like, it changes over the years, and that's going to obviously change the flavour or the look of what Father's Day will look like.
Oh, very much so. But I'm happy for my young adult children to come back and make me breakfast in bed and enjoy that and be pampered. But that's not likely to happen. But at the same time, that I think the intentionality of actually showing honour to our fathers is really important. But I'll have to go back a little bit more about, are you the type of dad or the type of father to be worthy to be honoured?
Wow.
And so it's really important to focus on how to become a better dad.
That is a big question to ask, and a tough one as well in the lead up to Father's Day. What's your answer, Brett? What are some of the tools? Or Kate, maybe jump in. What do you think are some of those ideas that could be leaned in for a dad who says, hey, I want to be a better dad?
Oh, well, there are actually some amazing scriptures about it. One is, encourage your children, discipline your children, love your children, be there for them when they're hurt, when they're upset. I mean, the whole concept of being a parent isn't just one of financial provision. That is part of it. That's part of being a dad, but also to engage with your children. And I think one of the funny ones is, fathers, don't exasperate your children.
You've got to remember, I was a nurse for 15 years. And so when the kids used to fall over and they weren't, broken bones everywhere, because I was a critical care nurse in accident emergency. So I was sick and the most injured. So when there was a little scuffed knee and they were, hysterical, I would get the giggles because I think it would be really, really funny.
And it was like, did you die?
Oh, no. I can imagine that. Exactly.
And I as a good husband, I often got sent to my room
to think and reflect on your behaviour.
Not be able to laugh at my children at the time.
It was very, very funny because times where I'd say, you need to say sorry.
And that's...
I do. And then he'd be laughing all the way to their bedroom. I go, yeah, that's not it. you need to kind of go away, get yourself together, and then go back with an actual contrite heart.
That's it, a sincere apology.
But funny. Humour is also a good thing. So I use humour in my nursing practice, and often those injuries that my boys sustained they'll start getting the giggles as well. So it worked. It probably wasn't the ideal and not very biblical. We are all a work in progress, and now I can do the same thing with my grandchildren, and I show so much more empathy as well.
Oh, it's nice to know that you've grown over the years. But I know that you guys have a toolkit on your website for dads. So if you're keen to sort of think, well, I want to be a better dad and more worthy of the honour as a dad, people can download that. What will they find in the toolkit?
There's a number of different things, conversation starters, some activities you can do with the kids, and maybe some just general tips on how to become a better father. And that question you asked before, fella, what you could do, have a look in the mirror, what type of man you are, because your role modelling, the words that you say, they're all the things that are going to set you apart. And your kids may not remember all the things that you did for them, but they will remember how you make them feel and to encourage them. And even now when our boys got a little bit older, they'd always look for us on the sidelines of a sporting event. Even though they were adults, they were used to it in there when they were little, but then they always liked that sort of that nod or that clap or that encouragement. And those little things can make all the difference in the worlds of your kids.
I just think it is. That's really fantastic, Brett, because it's...
thanks. That's that words of affirmation.
No, I like that.
She's just doing an example of that on radio.
I love it.
We do need to role model that they're watching us.
Yeah.
So if there is a mum around, we need to role model what respect looks like, not take it for advantage. Or what's the word?
I have no idea.
For granted. Not take for granted. Sorry, it was lost there for a minute. Take for granted what the husband, father does. Just showing appreciation and saying, I really respect you and appreciate you. Yeah. And when you role model that and talk to the kids about their dad, it should be in an honouring way, not bad, the dad, not putting them down, not saying
in public or in private.
yes, or private. It doesn't matter where you are. And I think role modelling is so underrated.
Yeah.
It's not taught, it's caught.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
well,
so
look,
good.
there is so much there.
Yeah,
And I
well, you
love
can-
it. We're talking about, we're not looking for perfection, but
Yeah.
just progression.
Yeah,
and you
that's
can
it.
find out more on the Families website, families.org.au. Is that right, guys?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Well, I just did
And I'll
a
just-
search
I'll-
there. Just type in Dad's Toolkit and it'll come up straight
okay,
away.
brilliant.
Sorry, go
And
ahead,
I'll
Brett.
leave you one thing. The best thing you can do for your kids is to love on their mother and to be the type of dad that you want your daughters to marry.
Yeah.
And those examples. And so to work on this marriage is ideal to be a good father. And that's the ideal setting, obviously. And just on a side note, we're going to be in Mount Gambier and to do a thing on marriage on the last weekend of September. So if people would like to attend a marriage event and they know anyone in the Mount Gambier area, you can go to the Mount Gambier Baptist website and we'd love to see you there.
Fantastic. All right,
Wonderful.
we'll look forward to that. And we look forward to catching up with you again in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks so much for your time today. And I hope you have a great Father's Day this Sunday, Brett.
Thank you very much.